What is up, you guys, and welcome back to another one of my Under the Tree podcast, unfiltered. I feel like it's better when it's unfiltered because I can just talk and not have to figure out if I'm staying on subject or not. And for two, I feel like there's a lot of things to talk about, so I don't want to limit myself to just one thing. But I do want to have like a main focus. So today, I would like to talk about drum rolls. Hopefully I can find some drum rolls. What do I want to talk about? I don't know specifically. Let's talk about the new quantum leap that is happening at this very moment. I feel like there's a lot of people that are shifting into a new perspective, a new dimension. May I add, it's a lot more intriguing than the last one. Of course, everything is new. There's always new stuff to learn. But it's just about having that faith and know that you're being guided into that next step. I feel like let's talk about transitions and cycles and how we know if we're in a cycle versus well, we're always in cycles. But let's talk about how if we're in a positive cycle or we're in a toxic cycle. Most people are in toxic cycles in their life because they just choose not to pay attention to them. And then over time, their life is always the same. Like nothing ever changes. And it's like you will always find yourself back in that same position you thought you literally just got out of. So let's talk about these kinds of cycles. So for me, when I was first understanding these types of cycles was when I was dating. When I was dating, I realized I had a bad mindset when it came to dating because of how I grew up. I grew up in a place where people weren't emotional or showing like a lot of affection. So most people who showed affection would show it with, I would say, nothing. From time to time it'd be a hug, I love you, but you know those words and stuff really don't mean nothing if you don't actually feel that emotion, right? So it's kind of like getting the physical part of it, but not the emotional part of it. A lot of people give the physical, but not the emotional. But people represent that as love because they feel like they're showing appreciation with the little I love yous and the little hugs, but in reality, it takes more than that to actually show a person love, regardless, you know. So yeah, growing up, I didn't have that emotional. Well, I was very emotional. I was considered one of the emotional people in my family. So growing up, I never realized like how much everybody else was disconnected from their emotions. And for me, I was always trying to understand why everybody else was acting weird. So over time, I was able to figure out exactly what was going on. And when I figured that out, I also spoke to my brother about it. And we talked about how much we didn't engage with each other in that way of actually being supportive with one another and actually wanting to understand one another because we were so distant off from everything that was just going on in the household at that time. Because when you grow up in chaos, it's hard to focus on like other stuff, you know what I mean? It was always something going on at the house, like a party or just people over in general. It was always something. So yeah, so let's talk about that. So during my dating time, when I first started dating, I dated when I was a little bit out of high school. I did not understand all the elements of dating at that moment because, like I said, I just came, you know, out of high school. Like I didn't start really getting out there until I was 20. So a lot of people will take advantage of that if they feel like you don't know much. And I had to learn that quickly. But even then, I still wasn't like quick to just give myself to dudes. Like I never, like, cause I always wanted like a genuine thing, right? So I would talk to guys and actually try to get to know them, and the whole time trying to get me to bed, and I'm like, no, let's have a conversation, and next thing you know, I'm getting cut off, and I'm over here trying to figure out why. But I realized it was because they weren't looking for that. It had nothing to do with me. It was just their own personal interest at that time. But in being in that perspective of that cycle, so this is where the cycle came in of abandonment issues, because my dad was not around. I was emotionally neglected. And I never really had anybody to just talk to about specific things, because most people were just dismissive. And when you grow up with a lot of people that are dismissive, it's like you get used to that, and you cling on to dismissive people, right? People who don't validate your feelings, make you feel like you're worthless, try to put you down and make themselves feel better. Like it's a lot of people out there like that. And you would think, coming from family, you would think that family would be a whole lot better than that. But there's a lot of people who grow up in families the same as I did. Sadly, a lot of people don't change. Most people just stay the same because that's just what's comfortable for them. And they feel uncomfortable when you do change. But let's get into the cycle of abandonment issues and how to overcome this cycle for those who out there who have abandonment issues probably didn't even know. Because I, for one, didn't know, because I thought I had a figure of a father in my life to replace my actual dad, thinking that that figure would be a good figure in my life, but turned out to be the reason why I dated the type of men that I dated then. So most of the guys I dated were always like aggressive. I would say that. It was a lot of aggressive guys I dated. And I would just deal with it because I was used to that dismissiveness, that aggression, that, you know, people always gave to me. So I thought that's what I deserved, because that's what I was always given. But you don't have to take what you're given. You can tell a motherfucker no. That's not what you want. And I had to learn to know that for myself, because once you realize what you want and what you don't want, you won't just let nobody try to walk around in your territory whenever they feel like it. So yeah, so I found out I had abandonment issues when I started dating. I noticed when it was a cycle of me talking to guys, just talking to guys, like not even actually dating or having intercourse or anything, just talking to guys. It never went as far as I wanted it to go. But I realized it wasn't me though, it was them. But having abandonment issues can make one very emotionally distraught in certain areas, especially when you feel like you're being left alone. So it's a cycle of always feeling alone. And then you have to overcome and master that cycle of being alone and understanding that being alone is not that bad at all. And it took me a little while to understand that myself was enough. Because like I said, you get used to people trying to down you all the time, and then you have to be the one to remind yourself that when people don't give you what you need or what you're like looking for in general, you have to be able to give that to yourself no matter what. Because motherfuckers out here ain't shit. Let's be real. The world we live in ain't shit. It's a lot of ain't shit people out here, not because they can't be shit, but because they choose not to be shit. So when you have a lot of people choosing not to be shit, you have to just remove yourself from not shit people. So I had to learn that, and the ways I was able to learn that was journaling. When you journal your experiences of life and things like that, that's how you able to also see those kinds of cycles. If you write down things that you do on a daily basis and just how you interact with people, how you deal with certain things, writing those things down will be like, oh, I dealt with it this way, I dealt with that way. And then you ask yourself, why did I deal with it this way? Where does it stimulate from? And how did it even come about in the first place, right? Is this my energy, or is this something I was taught and learned from somebody else? Which is, if you're taught and learned from somebody else, unawarely, you're picking up their own shit. So a lot of times we pick up our parents' shit because it's what they're taught, it's what's taught to us, but that doesn't mean that it's ours. You know what I mean? If it makes sense, it'll make sense. For the people who understand, they will understand. So, yeah, so coming out of abandonment was a tough cycle. I also have a video on here as well where I talk about growing up toxic, where it talks about kind of like how I got over the feelings of not feeling supported and things like that, and how I learned to support myself, and just understanding by understanding myself and just connecting with spirit. A lot of people downplay spirit so much, but people don't understand how much spirit is going to push you more than anybody else physically, whatever, you know. Even though yes, it is tough, it's very tough, but it's a journey that's worth going on. And I feel like a lot of people now are missing out because they feel like they're too busy missing out on worldly things, which mean nothing at the end of the day, because we all die. And a lot of people don't want to die, and that's where the problem comes in. You're dead anyways. You're pretty much dead anyways. We're half alive, half dead. We're living in the in-between, right? So does it really matter if you live or if you die half the time? You're going to die anyways, right? But if you do live, you should always want to find something to live for. Does it matter if I die today? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. You know, of course I'm going to have things I'll be like, oh, I wish I could have did this and that and that. But would I want to die with regret and feeling like I didn't do as much as I could? No. So that's where becoming okay with the now comes in. But within those cycles, you cannot always see that because you're going through the cycle, but you have to ask yourself, what is it about this cycle that I need to learn in order to overcome that cycle? So yes, journal, ask yourselves, meditate, talk to spirit. And a lot of people don't know how to get connected to spirit because people are like, how do I connect with spirit? Pray. Jehovah. I'm sorry. How do I connect with Jehovah? Pray. Pray. Simply pray, talk, ask. Ask and you shall receive. That's where I started. Ask and you shall receive. And that's how I started asking questions, not only to myself, but also to Jehovah, to understand our connection and where we were at that time, you know, and now it's led to this. And knowing that I am connected to Jehovah, knowing that Jehovah understands me just as well as I understand Jehovah, you know? So, and knowing that, that also, I feel like, helped me build a security of knowing that regardless of who walks in and out of my life, Jehovah is always there for me, always guiding me, always supporting me, keeping me going, and knowing that no matter what other people do, no matter what other people say, Jehovah is there, you know? And I always keep that with me, you know? They say a faith of the mustard seed is all that you need. That's another verse that got me, helped me go. Faith of a mustard seed, planting seeds, putting those in my mind, my body, my soul, planting those seeds and waiting for them to sprout. Even though it takes time for us to see those things, it's the work that you put in. That's the time, and it keeps going, and eventually you'll see those seeds start to grow because you have to continue to water it. If you don't work and water it, it'll never grow. You know, we can't grow food if we're not watering the food, right? We can't grow trees if we don't water the trees. So we have to water ourselves just as well because we are plants as well. You know, we have minds, we have senses just as well as the trees do. The trees may not have brains, but they have senses as well to teach them as other things. They helping us more than we're helping them. Let's be honest, because the world, the way it is now with everything and how people haven't picked up their fucking trash, plastic everywhere, our fucking food's poisoned. Our food is poisoned, going to shits, air quality bad, everything bad. And then people just walking around shaking their ass and scamming people, lying to people, killing people. And then you got people who are like, oh, the world's falling to shit, what do we do? Like, everybody's losing their fucking minds. Everybody. Why? Because they have no foundation with spirit. They don't have a foundation with spirit. That's where it all lies. I don't care what nobody else say. You gotta have a foundation with spirit. If you can't build your, what they say, what's that? What they say, a house built with God, it has a strong foundation. But a house built without God, it will surely fall. We have so many places here in where I am in America, whether you're in America or not in general, but a lot of places, businesses are not built off of God. It's not built off of trust. It's not built off of loyalty. Everything is built off of lies and deceit. So everywhere you go, you'll catch somebody lying. Everywhere you go, you'll catch somebody deceiving. Everybody's trying to use people in order to get themselves up. And that is the fucking problem. People are too lazy to work themselves. It's like even jobs and corporations that I went to, large corporations, they'll be like, oh, we're doing this to help you. They say they're helping you, but in reality, they're helping themselves. So you must ask yourself, who am I working for? Because that's also a karmic cycle of not knowing what you deserve. You're working with jobs that don't give a fuck. All the supervisors want you to work hard and shit so they can get bonuses. But where do my bonuses come from? You get what I'm saying? I'm putting all the work in, but you're getting all the money. I'm not getting shit, and you're just like, oh, the smiles, and you're doing such a wonderful job. I know I am. So when are you gonna pay me? That's how you gotta be. Because if not, they're gonna just keep smiling in your face, acting like everything is okay. And then you're gonna get more upset because you're not saying anything, but you have to know what you deserve. So at this time, I would say, take time out to learn and understand your own life cycles. Stop looking for other people to solve your problems. Stop looking for other people to figure out your mental health issues. Because at the end of the day, people can diagnose you with shit, but it's up to you to take charge on your own mental health. They can say all day, oh, just take this pill, take this pill. But those pills are temporary. Everything here is temporary. Nothing is long lasting. The only thing that lasts long is our souls in itself, in Jehovah. Anything after that is pretty much it. So I don't take life in a way of longevity because nothing here is permanent. Nothing here is permanent. I'm not permanent. You get what I mean? Like, nothing. Like, I could see this water bottle today and I could drink it and tomorrow it'd be empty. Nothing is permanent. You get what I'm saying? Like, if that makes sense, that makes sense. If it don't, it just don't. But I hope this helps when it comes to toxic cycles in a way for you to kind of understand them and see them in a way, even though I know I went a little bit off. But I just want y'all to know that all of this correlates in a way. Somehow, some way, this all correlates because it always does. That's why I'd rather just speak, because even if I do go off topic, it's for a specific reason, because there's obviously something else that must be said about something else that goes into the topic. But yeah, everything is multi. I was literally just watching Terrence Howard talk about multiplication and how we have a 1 in multiplication, but we don't even have straight lines, right? So I was also looking at how he said that, and I said, oh wow, that makes sense that the multiplication is off and the addition is off as well, because even in school I had noticed, right? I noticed that you could add and multiply in the same sense, and I did that for an equation and it worked, and I was never sure how I got that answer. I was like, how the fuck did I get that answer? And I did a whole nother complete formula, but I still did it. But when I saw that video, it made so much sense to me. And that happened years ago when I was in school. I didn't understand, because I always had, I love math. I always loved math, but I just didn't understand the type of equations they were asking me. I'm like, what the fuck? But when he said that, it made me realize, okay, it was not me. It's just the math form in itself that's degrading. It's not. We live, like he said, everything here is a level 1. Everything here is basic. So that's why there's no growth in America or in the world in general, because everything, we're at a level 1. And the level 1 don't even really exist, right? Technically, we go straight to level 2 because 1 is not even a thing. Because like you said, 1 can't multiply itself and give 1, right? So there's no such thing as a 1 times 1 or a 2 times 1 or 3 times 1 or anything times 1. It's only 2 times 2 and up. So I think that's kind of crazy to say. A lot of people, don't think about that. But I think the only reason people don't is because people they take what they're given. And here's where we come with the karmic cycles in the world in general. Everybody here just takes what they're given. And that's why the government always gives us shit. Because we don't care. As long as we're given something, right? Because what we said, what's the saying? Something is better than nothing. That's a lie. Baby, you gonna give me what I get, or you ain't getting shit. Understand? It's an equal give and take. Okay, if I'm giving you more than I'm receiving, that's a problem. You know what I mean? Now, if I'm just giving to you just to give because I'm choosing to give, that is different. But I will not over give to you either. You get what I'm saying? Because that is a choice. So I can take that choice back at any moment. So I feel like a lot of people get used to when people give so much, and then when they take it back, they look stupid because they're like, you were just giving. Yeah, baby, because I was choosing that. But now I choose not to. So everything in life is a choice. You can choose to, or you can choose not to. It's up to you. You can choose to break cycles, or you can choose not to. We've given the choice. You can choose to connect to spirit, or you can choose not to. But at the end of the day, that stated foundation will not be stable without spirit. And that's in anything in life. Look at the world we live in. Come on now. Like, people gotta open up their eyes. I know y'all can do it. I know y'all can do it. I know people are gonna draw back to spirit. I'm gonna pray for y'all and your souls, okay? Because it's just a lot of lost souls out there trying to help lost souls. I literally watched that freaking podcast. It was a podcast for people who were supposed to be helping people with relationships. They out here cheating with each other on the podcast. It needs the kind of people y'all watch. I don't watch the podcast. I just saw the business afterwards. I seen a few of them, but not just like I'm watching it. You know what I mean? Like I don't. I will always ask spirit before I ask anybody else, because I know spirit know. Who know better than spirit? Like who know better than y'all? Okay, who know? Nobody. But anyways, I hope y'all enjoy this podcast. I am becoming more expressive on here, as you can tell, being more comfortable with you guys, because like I say, it's better unfiltered for me, because I can just be myself without feeling like I'm putting limitations on, you know, and having to do certain things at certain times and say a certain way. Like, I don't have to do none of this shit. I'm gonna just say exactly how the fuck I feel. Whether people like it or not, it is what it is. I'm not here to be liked. But I'm just here to be an informant for those who want to grow in life, not those who want to stay stuck and stagnant, repeating the same cycles. That shit gets boring, and over time you start getting depressed because you feel like your life isn't going anywhere. And then you have anger, and then you get that anger, and then you start taking it on other people. And then that starts pushing people away from you because you're upset with your own life. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm on here today, because we don't want that. We need healed people. So healed people can heal people. We all healing. We can heal the world together, you know? But that's just me. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Peace and love. Blessings always to Jehovah. We're not saying that because Jehovah. But I'm just grateful that I'm able to give out these messages for you guys to even help people. Because at times I feel like I don't know if this is going to help. But I have to just trust and have faith that this will help somebody. Even if it's only one person. There is one person out there this might be for. But either way, I'm grateful for anybody, whoever soul this may touch. And I'm just glad that y'all trust me enough here, or Jehovah trusts me enough to do what I do. You know, so peace and love to the Most High. Blessings and love to you all.